Welcome to a solo episode of the Social Media Millionaire podcast. I'm really excited to sit down with you guys because today what we are talking about is marketing and brand differentiation. And basically, we're going to talk about why your marketing sucks. And if you don't differentiate your brand from everyone else, your business is going to die. So you guys know that I'm a little bit of a super nerd when it comes to buyer psychology, consumer behavior, behavioral economics, all of that good stuff. And so that's what I really want to break down today, because traditional marketing and what we see the marketing bros and marketing experts talking about on social media really just isn't going to cut it anymore. And, buyers and consumers are getting so smart, and they're so much more well informed, and people talk because of the internet and things like TikTok and the searchability and the connectivity that people have. You're not really going to be able to get away with shady marketing and a crappy product anymore. You really have to be able to, one, honestly stand in your integrity and what you actually do for your clients. You need to be able to show up and showcase real results and be able to explain how you achieve those results for people and how you're able to continue to facilitate those results in an ever-changing space. I literally look at hours and hours of content every day, and there is so much garbage that is out there on the internet in terms of marketing advice and tips and tricks and algorithm hacks, and it's all just a garbage fire of misinformation. There's so many people talking about when the best time to post is and the perfect hashtag strategy that's going to make you go viral and how to go viral, as if that's the only thing you need to do to create sales. People have so many different ideas about what it's going to take to actually effectively market a business. But the reality of the situation is that if you don't understand sales psychology, you don't understand your buyers, and you don't understand your audience, you're not going to make any money. And it doesn't matter if you implement every single guru's algorithm hacks and follow the perfect strategy. If you don't actually understand what your consumers are wanting from you and what pieces of information are really important to them on a psychological level to decide to make a purchase decision. So starting off with some of the garbage fire tactics and advice and just things that I see on the internet every day, I've been seeing a lot of people talking about the energetics of marketing. And the reality is that your marketing and the way you feel about it is really not relevant. I'm interested in the numbers. What does the data say? What does the data say that people are searching for? What are people actually typing in? Because there is a ton of data to support what people are actually looking for, what people are needing, what they're buying, what they're consuming. And so just leaning into your energetics and feeling aligned with your content is not enough to create consistent outreach, to nurture, and to convert your audience into sales. It's just not going to happen. I'm also seeing a lot of gurus talking about the perfect time to post and different algorithm hacks, and if you do your hook this way and hold your head this way in this video and post it exactly this time, use these hashtags and use this perfect combination of keywords in your caption, you're going to go viral. And even if those things worked, you still wouldn't be making sales, because if you don't know how to convert the people that you're reaching into sales, what's the point? Why bother? It would be better not to post at all. Number 3, I've seen so many bro marketers specifically talk about just adding value. Oh, if you just get on, you just educate, then people are going to buy from you because they're just going to see how valuable you are, and they're going to wonder what your paid content is like. No, they're not. No, they're not. I was talking to a client the other day, and she had an epiphany about what we're always talking about. And she was saying that she always sees this one person on social media and is like, oh, that person is always so helpful. And then she realized, she was like, well, there it is. They're always so helpful. But I've never once thought that I needed to buy anything from her. I've never wanted to spend money. I've never wanted to pay her to solve a problem that I have. I just like the video and think, wow, that's helpful, and then move on with my day. And I was like, that is the epitome of what educational content does. It's really easy to sit down and give people 3 tips and tricks for how to do different things. It's really easy to become an infomercial for your brand and to sit there and talk about all these different ways and strategies and techniques that people could do things. But that's really not what's going to be effective, because psychology tells us that, one, people need to be able to identify with your offer, with the problems that you're discussing as, oh, wow, that's something that I'm actually experiencing. They need to be able to see themselves in the marketing that you're doing. Number 2, they need to see results. They need to understand how you provide the transformation that you claim that you provide, because consumers are getting smart. They're much more educated, like I said, and they're not falling into these same old traps that people could get away with in 2016 through like 2020, right? I know you guys know what I'm talking about. There's just so much crap out there on the internet. And honestly, it's time that we start holding some of these people accountable for inauthentic and unethical marketing. But beyond that, it's really important that you learn how to clearly articulate how you solve the problems and the symptoms that your ideal clients have, and be able to really lead with results in an integrity-filled way, because that's the only way that you are going to be able to survive in this environment. If you want to continue to have a business and have people buy from you, you need to lead with that transparency. You need to lead with data and results, and you need to make decisions based off of data and results rather than just how you feel your audience is responding to a certain thing. One of the ways that you can really differentiate your brand from your competitors is by selling to the 4 different types of buyers. What's going to happen is people are going to come to your page, they're going to consume your content, they're going to binge, they're going to have all of their questions answered, they're going to trust you, they're going to have their objections handled, and they're going to buy. If your competitors aren't doing that in their marketing, they're not going to stand a chance. If you're not doing that in your marketing, you're not going to stand a chance. And so one of the best ways that you can really truly differentiate yourself is not at all by having the most different product or service, because the reality is there's only so many different ways you can do things when it comes to marketing, sales, business, web design, strategy, fitness, legal, like whatever. Like, it doesn't matter the industry. There's only so many ways that you can do things. And so you're not usually going to have this revolutionary service that's vastly different than everyone else. There's only so many ways that you can talk about a workout. There's only so many ways that you can talk about diet and muscle mass and recovery and whatever, right? There's only so many ways that you can talk about that. So there's really 2 things that are going to personalize and differentiate you from your audience. Number 1, that's going to be your personal story and showing up as a real person and not being a robot when it comes to creating content on social media. And then number 2 is selling to the different types of buyers in your audience, because these different buyers, they take different things into consideration. Different people care more about results and data and ROI, where other people care a lot more about their feelings, their emotions, the relationship they have with the brand. And so if you're speaking to the wrong things in your content, you're going to notice that you have a massive drop in your sales, or you're not making any sales at all. So when you're able to personalize your brand in that way, really connect with your audience, and then also sell to them based off of the things that they're actually thinking about when they're thinking about making a purchase, that's what's going to differentiate you from everyone else, because your content is just going to speak to them. It doesn't matter if your product or service is any different than what anyone else down the street has. You're going to be the one that they buy from, because you're going to be the one that sells to them and speaks to them in a way that connects with what they actually care about. Which leads me to my next point, which is selling the solution rather than the service. Literally, no one cares about your service. No one cares about your course, what modules are inside, how many different calls they get. What people care about is the outcome and the transformation. And ultimately, that's what they're buying. They're not buying your course. They're not buying your skincare routine or products. They're buying their desired outcome. That's what you're actually selling to them. So when you think about that and you shift that in your content, when you think about selling the outcome, that becomes that one opens up so much more content that you can create beyond just talking about the fact that you have a product or service. No one cares. Everyone has a product or service. When you sell the outcome, when you sell the result, and when you can clearly articulate what elements of your product or service produce that desired result or outcome, that is what is going to actually convert into sales, right? If I can connect the fact that this client was able to create a $60,000 month to one specific part of our framework, that's going to be a lot more activating than telling you that, hey, we teach sales psychology in our program. Who cares? You can learn about sales psychology on ChatGPT. You can learn about sales psychology by picking up a book for $13. You don't have to spend thousands to work with a coach. But what's going to differentiate us from everyone else is the way that we help you implement, is the way that we sell and are able to connect with what's actually going on for you, and the fact that we know exactly what you need, how you're feeling, what you're going through, and how to quickly solve those problems. And we're able to showcase with transparency by pulling back the curtain and showing you how we actually solve those problems, what specific elements of our offer, service, framework, etc. produce those results that you're after. That's what you're ultimately selling. The next thing that's really important to understand in differentiating your brand, this is going to set you apart from everyone else in your industry if you do this, and that's actually making decisions based off of data and numbers and what that's telling you, rather than how you feel about your content or your sales. So it's been absolutely shocking and disturbing to me to learn how many people have absolutely no idea what their numbers are. We had a client probably 6 months ago, and I was asking, how do you track your sales? What software do you use? And she was like, well, I know that I made a sale when it comes into my bank account. What do you mean? I was flabbergasted, to say the least, but she's not alone. And there's so many other elements of business that people just have absolutely no tracking around. I can almost guarantee you that you listening to this, you probably have no idea how many people total you reached on your social media last month. You probably have no idea what your conversion rate from your social media, like from your TikTok account over to your website is. I bet you have no idea what that number is. Do you even know how to find that number? People just don't know what's going on in their business, and then they want to complain about what's going on in their business. How do you know that you have a marketing problem or a sales problem or an offer suite problem if you don't even have the numbers to support that information, right? You're just going off of vibes and feelings. That's not any way to run a successful business. And I know that so many of you that follow me, your ultimate goal is not even a 7-figure business, but an 8 or 9-figure business. If you're going to be an 8-figure founder, you're going to need to know your numbers. So a few things that I recommend getting a grip on today so that you are actually able to make decisions for your business and grow your business in an effective way. Number one, you do need to know exactly how many people you're reaching on social media, on every single platform, total across all of those platforms, and where that traffic is coming from. So is it primarily coming from Reels? Is it coming from static posts? Is it coming from stories? Is it coming from like 1 or 2 TikToks that you posted is bringing in the bulk of those leads or traffic? Is it, more evenly distributed because all of your TikToks are getting about the same amount of views, right? You need to know that information. So how many people are you reaching? And then of those people that you're reaching, how many of them are actually coming to your profile? Because that's really important. Just because somebody sees a video doesn't mean that they did anything with it. So if you have a lot of people coming to your profile, but then you still have nobody buying from you, that's a very different situation than if you don't have any people coming to your profile, but you're getting views on your content, right? That tells us different things. That allows us to zero in on what the actual problem is. You need to understand also from that amount of people that are coming to your socials, coming to your profile, how many of them are actually clicking to the link in your bio, your website, what is the conversion rate there? Because you might find that you have a lot of people seeing your stuff on social media, a lot of people coming to your socials, but then nobody's activated to click on your website. Great. That's really good information to have. You've now zeroed in on the problem. If you have a lot of people coming to your website, but then it's not converting into applications or sales, great. Now you know what your problem is. So if you don't have these numbers, I'm really wondering how you're making decisions and what you're even doing all day in your business, because you're not even working on the right things. You're not even working on the things that are going to move the needle forward in your business. And so one of the best ways you can, again, differentiate yourself is by knowing these numbers, making decisions based off of these numbers, and then putting out content that is aligned with these numbers. You're putting out content that speaks to the things that you know get the most engagement and views. You're hitting home to the things that you know are really important to people, and you're leveraging that data to make a name for yourself, to talk about the important issues, and to connect with your audience on a level that's actually important to them. And then finally, the last and I would argue most important thing that you need to do to differentiate yourself and your business so that your business continues to exist is you have to know your villain. And you have to have a villain. And I know this is going to be controversial, and I just couldn't really give a care. The thing is that if you don't have anything to stand against, you don't have anything to stand for. And we know that people buy from people. We know that people want to be able to connect with brands based off of their values, their vision, their mission, all of that good stuff. But the one thing that is going to differentiate you more than anything else are the things that you can come out against, the things that you can be a leader in talking about. So in just about every industry, there are misconceptions that are touted and taught. In every industry, there are myths. There are things that people believe that just simply isn't true. There's new and updated data coming out in every industry that no longer supports some of the old ways of doing things, right? There are methods and strategies that are taught that aren't actually effective. There are different products that are sold that aren't good, aren't quality, aren't worth the money. There are unethical things that happen in every industry. So it's really important for you to determine what those soapbox topics are for you that you genuinely care about, that you can speak on a lot and bring awareness to. Because when you can create that type of movement and momentum with your brand by standing against something and being a powerful leader in your space, not being afraid to ruffle feathers, not being afraid to make waves, when you can do that, that is the ultimate thing that is going to set you apart from everyone else and ensure that your business can continue to thrive. That's it for this episode, you guys. I really appreciate you guys being here and listening. As always, be sure to subscribe to the podcast, leave a review, and if you have any questions, you want to chat through anything about your business, be sure to DM me on Instagram. My DMs are always open, and I'm always more than happy to chat with you guys. So I appreciate you being here, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.